In this tutorial, we'll learn how to build these beautiful card layouts while learning every important grid property step by step. We'll break CSS Grid into 3 simple sections. First, we'll learn how to create columns and rows, control their sizes, and build the overall grid structure. Next, we'll explore alignment, how to position the entire grid inside the container, and how to align items inside individual grid cells. Finally, we'll learn how grid items can stretch across multiple rows and columns to create more advanced layouts like bento grids and dashboards. Let's begin. The moment we write display grid, the browser creates an invisible grid system for the cards. Nothing visually changes yet, but grid is now active. We use grid template columns to define the number and size of columns. Here we have 3 columns, each exactly 220 pixels wide. The only downside is that fixed layouts are less responsive on smaller screens. As you can see, the columns do not resize and overflows outside the grid container. Now instead of fixed pixels, we use fractional units. FR means fraction of available space. 1 fraction means 1 equal part, so 1 fraction creates 3 equal columns that automatically stretch to fill the container. This is one of the most important grid features because layouts become flexible instantly. If we make the middle column 2 fractions, it gets twice the space compared to the others. This is perfect for dashboards, sidebars, and content layouts. Next, we can use repeat to generate columns quickly. Repeat 4 1 fractions means create 4 columns of equal width. We can also fix the first column width and use repeat for other columns. This keeps grid code much cleaner and easier to scale. We also have a minmax property to set minimum and maximum size for columns. The columns can grow larger, but they will never shrink below 180 pixels. This keeps layouts readable even when the screen becomes smaller. Now coming to the most responsive property. This is where grid becomes magical. AutoFit automatically decides how many columns can fit inside the container. As the screen shrinks, cards automatically wrap into new rows. This is one of the most powerful responsive grid techniques. Until now, grid only controlled columns. Using grid template rows, we can also control row heights. Each row becomes exactly 180 pixels tall. We can use all the other properties here just like we did for grid template columns. So grid can manage both horizontal and vertical structure simultaneously. Column gap only creates spacing horizontally between columns. Notice the vertical spacing stays unchanged. Row gap controls vertical spacing only. The columns remain untouched. Gap combines row gap and column gap together. This is the most commonly used spacing method in grid layouts. It creates consistent spacing everywhere. With this, we end our first section. In this section, we'll focus on positioning the entire grid inside the container and how to align items inside individual grid cells. Justify content moves the entire grid horizontally inside the container. The cards themselves do not move inside their cells. Instead, the whole grid shifts together. This only becomes visible when the grid is smaller than the container. Justify items aligns the card horizontally inside their individual grid cells. Only the content inside each cell moves. Justify self-targets one specific card. Here, only card 2 aligns itself to the end, while the others remain unchanged. This overrides the group alignment for a single item. Align content moves the entire grid vertically inside the container. Again, this affects the full layout, not individual cards. Align items vertically aligns all cards inside their grid cells. The rows stay in place. Only the cards move inside those rows. Align self overrides vertical alignment for one specific card. Card 3 ignores the group rule and aligns itself differently. With this, we finish our second section. The last section, which is my personal favorite, focuses on how we can position and stretch grid items across multiple rows and columns to create more advanced layouts. The grid lines are numbered like this. This will help us to identify the start and end positions of columns and rows. Using grid column start, we can manually control where a card starts. Card 1 begins from column line 2. Grid layouts are based on invisible numbered lines. Understanding these lines is extremely important for advanced layouts. We also control where the card ends. The card stretches from line 2 to line 4. This makes the card span across multiple columns manually. Instead of writing start and end separately, we can combine them into one property. Here, grid column means start at line 2 and end at line 4. This shorthand is cleaner and commonly used. Instead of targeting exact lines, span tells grid how many columns the card should occupy. Span 2 means take up 2 columns. This is much easier for responsive layouts. Now card 3 stretches vertically across 2 rows. This creates the classic Bento Card effect. Notice how the surrounding cards reorganize automatically. That's grid intelligently handling placement. Grid area is a shorthand for row start, row end, and column end. This lets us place items precisely inside the grid. It's like giving exact coordinates to cards. But it's always simpler to remember names that number, right? And we can actually name layout sections and use those names to position grid items. This technique is amazing for dashboards, landing pages, and app layouts. You can literally design layouts using words. And this is the real power of CSS Grid. You are no longer fighting layouts. You're designing systems. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Comment down on what you want to learn next.